Okay everybody, welcome to our next installment of band videos. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Slur2Tongue2 pattern, which for most of my concert band folks, you guys know this pattern pretty well and you're already comfortable with it. But what we're going to do now is start to work on developing that going a little bit faster, and we're going to start to work on making that technique or that pattern a little bit clearer. Okay? Now this is the first page of my green book. This is page 2. Remember the green book, of course, is Standard of Excellence, book 2. Okay? And you'll notice in the pattern it has the Slur2Tongue2s. I'm reading out of the clarinet book today. It has the patterns written in 2 octaves, both the lower octave and the higher octave. And I'd really like to challenge all of my clarinets in concert band to play the upper register one and get used to doing that. But for your audition, if you're not as strong on the high notes yet, and you want to start off on playing the lower one first, then that's okay. But if you can start and jump in on the high one, that would kind of be a neat thing. So let's just take a look at what we see. Okay, we have Slur2Tongue2 patterns, and what's really cool is that the Slur2Tongue2s are consistent. When the parts are written like this and there's one low and one high, they're both the same. It's Slur2Tongue2 down here. It's also going to be Slur2Tongue2 for the upper part too. They're all done the same way, so don't be confused by that. The articulation of the tonguing is going to be the same. Okay, so Slur2Tongue2, Slur2Tongue2, and that pattern is consistent all the way through. Now when we get to the second line, you see a little word here called simile. And simile in Italian literally means the same as. Okay? So when we go to the second line, if we see a simile, we want to play those articulation patterns as a Slur2Tongue2. The tonguing pattern is going to stay the same. It doesn't change. Okay? So for the whole rest of the piece, as you play all 4 of these lines, the pattern is all Slur2Tongue2. Okay? And then when you first look at it, don't be scared off by looking kind of busy and stuff. It is a little bit, but it's really not very hard. And it really is all, if you look at the key signature, right, no sharps and no flats, it's really all just built on a C scale. Okay, it's the same C scale that we played in our advanced warm-ups. Now we're just going to do it in a Slur2Tongue2 kind of a pattern. All right, so how do we do that? You want to keep the air really steady, like we talked about before. Lots of steady air is going to give you good, clear tongues. And you want to just let your fingers be as close as you can to the fingerboard so that they don't have to travel too far to kind of develop your technique and make that a little bit smoother. Okay? So my first measure, if I play the Slur2Tongue2, is going to sound like this. Okay, and I'm trying as much as I can to make these notes sound connected, and I'm using my staccato tongue or my short tongue on the second 2 notes because we want those to sound as different as we can from the first 2. Gives me my whole first line. Okay. If you're working with that with a metronome and you're starting off, at a really slow speed, that's okay. That's a good thing. It doesn't have to be fast to start. So where I'd like to pick, if we go back to our kind of starting speed for our advanced scales, maybe you could start it like at around 70. Would be great. That's a perfect speed. It doesn't have to be faster than that. And if I add a metronome click to that, you feel that, okay? These are all 8th notes, so it's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and is how that's going to feel. Okay, so don't be afraid to use your metronome to help set the tempo and help keep you even as you play that. Second line is simile or same as, so I'm going to play the same tonguing style. And my highest note in the clarinet part is going to be high C. Okay, that's the very highest in the section. If I played the lower octave part, it would sound exactly the same, except just down 1 octave. remember start that as slow as I want to, that's fine, and then just work on gradually speeding it up, as long as you can control the tempo, whatever speed that you can keep even. Okay, so don't worry about it being mad fast. It really just has to be as even as you can make it, and then gradually from there you can increase the tempo by turning up the metronome. We'll be doing that in lessons. I'll help you go through that as we do it. But try to work on making it as even as you can. That's the most important thing. So if we take the tempo up just a little bit, not mad fast, this would sit at about, I'm going to save a little time, but this would be sitting at about 100, okay, which is just a little bit, a good chunk faster than 70. But here's how it feels at just a little tiny bit faster speed. My beat is there, can you hear it? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and before you start, take a minute to feel that beat. Get it inside you so you know how fast you want to go. And then put that into the music. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, here's the upper part at 100. Actually, I'm sorry, take it back. 104. It's a little faster. Section in time at that tempo, okay? All right, I hope that helps you get started, but that's what you're listening for, and as you start to build that, start as slow as you want, but as you start to build that, you should hear some really great stuff. Okay guys, thanks for listening. Slur2Tongue2 today, and then we'll be talking about chromatic scale in the next installment. Thank you.